Blog Talk Radio.
Pagans Tonight Radio, the voice of the pagan world, featuring the man with all the questions that some don't want you to hear. Called the most dangerous person you will ever listen to, the ever-curious digital pioneer, Ed the Pagan.
And good evening, everybody. And I want to thank you for being a part of Pagans Tonight Radio family. And if you are listening to this, and this is the first time you're listening to it, please subscribe to our site. If not, that's okay too, because we're going to be here for a very long time. And tonight we're going to continue our process of emerging pagan leaders. And tonight we're going to be hearing from members of the Correllian tradition, Reverend Emerald Earthheart, and Reverend Constantinos and Reverend Thalia. And so I think without further ado, and remember, sponsored by witchschool.com, and check out paganworld.ning.com. It's transforming before our very eyes.
Pagans Tonight Radio is sponsored by witchschool.com, your anyone, anywhere, anytime online magical education.
And take a look at paganworld.ning.com. Tonight it is starting to be really fleshed out. You're going to see more. And one of the places we're going to demonstrate the emerging Pagan World Leadership Conference, February 18th, 19th, and 20th. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be very important. But we're going to continue on with I have a hard time with his name, and I so apologize because he's such a fascinating kid. Reverend Thalia and Reverend Constantinos. Okay. Done butchering it. He gives it properly. I think this is a very fascinating one. These individuals are from Greece. They run and operate their church there. And he's done a lot of translation work as well for the Correllian tradition. And here we go. Hi, everybody. Tonight we have a special treat, and this is going to be one of those moments where you're going to take a couple of shots because this is two great leaders, Reverend High Priestess Thalia and Constantinos. We're going to get them to pronounce it properly, and I apologize to everybody that is, but that was your first drink for the day. There's a drinking game. As everybody knows, there's the Ed drinking game when I do radio. But we are very grateful. They are from Greece, and they're doing the work for their temple. So why don't I get you guys your story, your origin story, and for our audience, the proper pronunciation of your name instead of my butchering.
No worries. Well, Thalia, do you want to go first?
You go first, please.
Okay. I've joined the Correllian tradition at 2006. I was a member of the Divine Flame temple in Greece. And through the years, I discovered the teachings, the family that the Correllian family actually is. And when I joined the military for my time, it's obligatory here, I lost contact with the tradition. But after that, 2011, I met Thalia and other current members of the temple, and they wanted to learn more. So we started doing the first degree, the second degree, and then get to know each other. At 2007, I also joined the Order of Reiki, and I completed the 3 degrees. I then continued to Kundalini Reiki. I especially love the healing and the idea of offering energy to other people. And those were the basic structures of my life after that. At 2016, Rev Alex Armaos asked me if I wanted to start a temple in Greece. And he contacted our chancellor and first priest, Rev Don, and he agreed to recognize the teachings that all the previous members had gone through. And after that, a year later, at 2017, Servant of Hermes, Wittenstein, was born.
That's lovely. All right. And Thalia, you came in through that process as well.
Mm-hmm, yes. Well, at first I was a very skeptic person. I didn't believe many things, and I wanted proofs, and I was an atheist. And I started with Reiki, with Konstantinos, and I started to want to learn about magic, and one thing brings the other, and I started to have a contact with the divine as a god and goddess, and this was something very strong for me because I felt that this was the path for me, the call, you know. Mm-hmm. And I started with first degree, second degree, third degree, and we was very close to each other. We have the one make the other to question things and make things one level after the other, and to explore our minds and our souls, and what's the unknown, the unseen. So I think that together we put the basis of this temple, and the one make the other person to be a better person, to recognize things that we didn't know that were there, you know. And then, yes.
Go ahead.
Then it was a distance, because the two cities we are, it's in the north and the south of Greece. We have to make to travel to see each other, to make the rituals, and as the years passes, we understand that we should have two bases for the temple we wanted to make, and to make this work, you know, because people was difficult to go from town to town here in Greece. Maybe it's a small country, but for us here, these distances are very big.
I can understand that. So when people think in the United States and in the Western Hemisphere, we tend to think of Greece as this sort of paragon of paganism. But it's really a very Christian country, isn't it? Or is it paganism there?
95% of the people here are Orthodox Christians, and only 5% is documented as atheist or other religion.
So
that's an issue.
Is that an issue?
Yes. Actually, we have the National Council of Greeks that follow the ancient system of beliefs to the old gods. And they've started to 2005 to fight for recognition and for rights, for ritual rights to the ancient sites. And it's a work in progress. We actually mimicked many of the legal actions they took to establish our temple here.
We have to be very careful, yes.
And so that people don't realize that because we tend to think of Greece, right, and as like Hercules and Zeus, and in the West here we have all that mythology, and it's not the same mythology for you. I mean, you're a lot closer to the sources, the temples, and you have a lot of the ruins, but you're not allowed to worship at these ruins, are you?
No, they are. It is prohibited, and most of our temples are under UNESCO protection, and that is no religious actions can be held there.
So let's get that cleared up, because people think that that is still happening, and it's not. They're protected spaces.
Yeah, the only ritual that we can say is being held still is the lighting of the flame for the Olympics.
All right.
That's a theatric action. It's not a real ritual. They just mimic the old ways and how they did the priestesses and gained the flame. Just that.
Oh, that's That's very interesting. It's you don't think about that very much when the Olympics is. They just had them in Japan, and that flame came all the way over from Greece. So let me ask the question here: how do you pronounce? So what is the Greece in its native language, in your native tongue? What is the word for that? So we call it Greece, but that's an Americanized version or an Englishized version.
It's Elas.
Elas?
Elas. Or Elada in modern Greek.
Modern, yes.
I know that people, so we know that's a little tough and everything, but you guys have been doing a really good job, and you have a lot of members, and you've been translating text from English to Greece. I know Lord Don is always so happy to hear about that. There's something very satisfying about that. And so what made you pick up, say, Wicca versus we have in the United States Hellenics and Reconstructionists who are trying to rebuild the idea of the Greek religions? But you guys are basically Wiccans, right? And and so that's a little bit different from that sort of Hellenic process.
Yes.
So it's very interesting. So what is it that brought you into Wicca, other than what brought you into Wicca versus, practicing that form of paganism, the local?
I was 15 when I first came across the term Wicca, and I felt it fitted best. Wicca has magic, has energy working, has a religion built on the divinity of the human being and the higher self. And Hellenism is not that. Hellenism is about the deities that came to be, the fight between the higher entities like Titans, the Gaia, Uranus, and how they created humans, and how they developed a system that's more of coexistence than development. I find Wicca is a path of development, and especially Correllian Wicca, as we're here, to be the path of finding ourselves and connecting with our higher selves.
Also, I think that...
Please.
Okay. Yes. Also, I think that Wicca is a modern religion who applies to our needs more than a religion as old as the old religion. I mean, we are modern people, and we have different needs and different society than those people. And even though we admire those people, we are not them. We live in another time, and the Wicca is μας ταιριάζει καλύτερα. Πώς θα μπορούσαμε να το πούμε?
It fits better.
It fits better, yes.
That makes good sense to me, and things like that.
Yeah.
So as you're practicing, I know that you're very involved with the sort of the global movement, and you're younger leaders, and it's one of the reasons you were nominated as a part of the younger leadership. What do you think is your duty to your community? Do you have a duty to your community?
Our duty.
Duty, or what is it that you do with your community? Let me try to simplify it. What do you do with your practitioners and those you are working with?
We're still developing the temple, so our main focus is on training, on spreading the teachings of the Correllian tradition, of Wicca, of paganism, of making contact with other pagan groups and communities in Greece, to unite, to work together, and our duty is to protect our people. In Greece, due to the increasing numbers of fascism, the beliefs of Wicca are quite against them.
So that must, I can see that being difficult, and that's, that's something that, we went through that in the United States, but it's gotten a lot better, and we don't have so much state religion here, though you can't tell lately. But we have a little bit more freedom, but there was a lot of discrimination here against Wiccans, and we were able to overcome it. But you guys, you have a very different style of government from us. There's not the same level of freedoms. I mean, you have a different set of freedoms, but like in religion, you don't have the same sort of freedom of thought. And so
we are only protected by the European Union decisions, but even them, they need to go by our parliament to be considered laws. And so that's very difficult.
That
politicians don't want to present something different from the norm.
So so all of that comes in. So let me go ahead and take it into a more positive light, and that's people pray. We need to help out, and this is something I think we need to be, especially within the great family, we need to be able to help you. What is it that what do you guys do? So you do celebrations, the Sabbats and the celebrations. Are those those are pretty joyful, right? Do you guys have those?
Yes. Yes. We try to inspire people so that not to do just a ritual they read and do the things. We try to inspire them to sing, to dance, to have joy and passion and all these things, and to be together, to open their hearts, connect with the divine, all these things that are very I think they miss from the religion of Christianity that most people have. It's not joyful and not open, very strict. We want something different, something that open people up,
I do.
Yeah.
And so, go ahead.
Okay. It's quite difficult to keep the religion alive, but we do all the Sabbats. We try to add the Eshvat celebrations, like we were going to do at the 9th of October for the new moon, at 6th of October. And we try to either gather, either at Thalia's house, which works our base in Thessaloniki, or in mine, in Athens, so we can celebrate together. We also do Zoom rituals and celebrations, and we even go to outdoors. There are places and areas that we can gather and celebrate, and we always have the fear, the worry that someone may call the police. We had an incident in August, actually.
Wow.
But we know our rights, we know the legal system, so we celebrate outside and we enjoy ourselves. We don't let it stop us.
Mm-hmm. So you're really freedom. You move. You're trying to help everybody move towards greater freedom.
Yes.
That's very normal. So I was asked about this, and since I have it, we have a revival. We are having a large movement of Hecate or Hecate, and in the United States, especially, keeping your keys. There's this wonderfully growing Hecate movement, Mother Witchcraft, the idea of it, but I think it's very Americanized. I don't think it's necessarily the same as over there. Do you find so? Do you guys work with Hecate at all, or do you work with the different deities?
It's one of the deities that we work with, and we see that Sorita Dexter's work really affected the Europeans and the Americans towards the view they have for Hecate. And we use the Orphic hymns.
Yeah.
The Orphic hymns and the Hesiod's origin story to connect with all the Greek gods and goddesses.
That's interesting. I mean, because Americans take everything and they turn it into cartoons or movies, and we get a lot of information that gets changed into.
Well, that's great.
That's it. Because we have all of our commercials. We have all of our commercialization of this. Hercules movies and things like that. But it's not the same. So over there, do you have a sense of do you see that cross back into Greece? That sort of more Hollywood style? Do the gods, when people talk about it there, do you guys see that on that side?
Some people do, yes.
Okay.
But not all of us, yes. No.
I was just
some are affected by the movies, by the serials, the series, the books that come out from America, from American writers, and that's okay. It's absolutely acceptable. But there's always a way to celebrate and teachings and ideas to embrace or not. We don't accept all of the we don't
embrace
all those teachings, but we will never discourage someone to search and learn and practice.
Terrific. That's very important. So, so let me offer this. I have two last questions. One is, what is it that you enjoy most of all? What is the most fun that you have, or the most joyful things that you do? You mentioned singing and dancing and things of that nature.
Yes, this is the most joyful for me. The dancing and the theatrical acts in the rituals. and all the things that have a creation and εξωτερήκευση, πώς θα το λέμε αυτό, έκφραση, ναι, τέλος πάντων, δημιουργική έκφραση.
Creative expression.
Yes.
To me, the best, my favorite part is the translations. I love translating.
Oh, do you?
I started at 2006 and I've never stopped. And I believe that the meanings and the teachings should be at anyone's native language to better understand. And by doing the translations, I enjoyed writing the rituals, the ritual preparations, and in combination with the translations that we implement the teachings in them, really helps and improves the teachings, the understandings of each ritual, especially for Sabbath.
That's wonderful. That's so joyful. So my last question for today is, what do you see for your future? Do you have any goals? Do you have anything that you want to do in the future? Because you're so young. We have so much time yet.
Yeah.
Well, our first, and I believe our main goal is to manage to establish Wicca as a religion in Greece. By doing so, we'll have the ability to celebrate freely, to have the same rights as any church in Greece, and to unite the people. We find it really important to be connected and be one family. Paganism
with other Pagan religions, yes.
Has nothing to divide between them, amongst them, actually. So why don't we work together for that goal? It's not easy, but it's something I really want to focus on. Other goals are to have our own temple, our specific places. Physical places, yes. Both in Athens and in Thessaloniki, and on other cities that will also have members, because Ser Ed Hubbard might be a temple that is based in Athens, for example, but it's a national temple as we see it, and we built it for all Greeks, not just those that are able to just walk there.
That's lovely.
And why not to communicate with other Wiccans and Pagans in other countries of Europe, Balkans, and we would like to make contact with these countries, so we unite all.
We're working on that.
Yeah.
So the last thing I'm going to ask you for is, what would be the advice you would give to your 15-year-old self or other young pagans in Greece that would want to pursue this path?
Do not afraid. Explore. Do not afraid. Explore themselves.
That's good.
Yeah.
To come out of the closet, even for themselves. To stop being afraid of admitting what they feel, what they see, how they perceive the world.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for this interview. This is great. I mean, I'm thrilled. When I got this in, so you were like one of the few that were outside the United States. We only had 18 people got nominated, and I really appreciate you guys taking the time to talk with me.
We're really honored.
We have a great time. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. And everybody, we'll be right back after this break on Pagans Network Radio, where we're bringing you the voice of the pagan world. And we're back, and you listened to Constantinatos and Thalia of the Serpent of Hermes Temple out of Greece. We need to give them a lot of wishes in the future. All right, folks, it's going to happen. The Emerging Pagan Leadership Conference, February 18th, 19th, and 20th, and I'm hoping to have these fine folks back for that. So we're going to talk a lot about it. I'm going to be in Denver with a new class. We're going to talk more about that. But today, we're ending with Kiva's Earth Mother. Have a blessed evening.
Oh
back tomorrow night, where we will have the Right Reverend Dusty Dion and Reverend Brenna Grace of the ATC. This is a wonderful series, more to come. Blessed be and good night.
Blog Talk Radio.